Have you ever wondered why we are drawn to conflict? Why, since the beginning of time, we look at a struggle and find ourselves choosing a side? In 1942, young animators in America, William Hanna and Joseph Barbera, were desperate. Their studio was failing, and they needed one golden idea to save their careers. They didn't create superheroes or grand kings. Instead, they looked at the flaw and chose the most cliché, the most ordinary rivalry in nature: a cat and a mouse. The studio executives hated the idea. They said it was unoriginal, that the world had seen enough cats and mice. But when the first cartoon aired, something magical happened. The audience didn't just laugh, they saw themselves. They saw Tom, the hard-working, frustrated cat, who does everything right but always fails. And they saw Jerry, the clever, invisible mouse, who survives against all odds. Their names were Jasper and Jinx at first, but the world soon called them Tom and Jerry. A simple chase that was about to change animation forever. Have you ever noticed that Tom and Jerry almost never speak? In a world obsessed with dialogue, they chose absolute silence, a choice that made them universal. Because a child in Cairo, a teenager in Tokyo, and a grandmother in New York could all understand the same joke without a single word of translation. But silence needs a voice, and that voice was Scott Bradley, the resident composer who turned animation into a grand symphony. Every step Tom took was a piano note. Every time he crashed into a wall, a brass trumpet exploded. The music wasn't just a background, it was the script itself. It was an incredibly difficult puzzle. A full live orchestra had to match their instruments to the exact frame of a running mouse. Microseconds made the difference between comedy and chaos. Bradley mixed high-class classical music with fast-paced American jazz. He brought Chopin and Liszt to the chaotic world of a suburban living room. Hanna-Barbera didn't just animate, they acted. They stood in front of mirrors, making funny faces, acting out the pain of a cat catching his tail, just to capture the perfect human emotion. The industry couldn't ignore this level of genius. The silent cat and mouse went on to win 7 Academy Awards, matching the legendary Walt Disney himself. Decades have passed, old television shows have been forgotten, but this silent war remains timeless. Because when you strip away the words, only pure emotion remains. On the surface, it is just a cartoon about a chase, but underneath, Tom and Jerry is a profound mirror of human relationships. When we are children, we all root for Jerry. We love the underdog, the small creature who defies the giant. We see our own smallness conquering the big world. But as we grow older, a strange shift happens. We look at Tom and we finally understand him. We see a creature who is just trying to do his job, trying to survive, but is constantly beaten down by circumstance. Tom becomes the tired employee, the dreamer who fails, the person who does everything right but still loses. In Tom, we see our own adulthood, and this is where the true moral lies. They cannot live with each other, but they absolutely cannot exist without each other. Their warfare is their connection. Whenever a true danger arrives, a bigger enemy, or a freezing winter night, the chase stops. The cat warms the mouse, and the mouse protects the cat. They are enemies, defined by love. It teaches us a beautiful, yet painful truth about life. Sometimes, the people who challenge us the most are the ones who give our lives purpose. Without Tom, Jerry has no story. Without Jerry, Tom has no reason to run. It is the perfect balance of light and shadow, a silent agreement that says, I will fight you, but I will never let you disappear. But every great story must have a conclusion. And the way this legendary chase ended remains one of the darkest and most misunderstood moments in television history. In 1956, the brilliant era of Hanna-Barbera came to a close with an episode called Blue Cat Blues, an episode that broke the hearts of millions. There were no jokes, no funny music, only a broken-hearted Tom, sitting on a cold railway track, waiting for a train to end his misery. He had lost the love of his life to someone richer. Moments later, Jerry joins him. He too had discovered that his love had left him. For the first time, they didn't fight. They sat side by side, defeated by life, as the whistle of an approaching train echoed in the dark. It was a shocking, heavily realistic end for a children's cartoon. It showed us that no matter how hard you fight, some battles in life cannot be won. In the face of ultimate despair, the enemy becomes your only true friend. The original studio closed, overproduction costs, and technology changed. Other creators tried to remake them, but they could never capture the raw soul of those early hand-drawn years. Because Tom and Jerry wasn't made by computers. It was crafted with the blood, sweat, and tears of human artists who gave a piece of their souls to a cat and a mouse. Today, their chase still echoes in living rooms all over the globe. Children who laughed at them in the 1940s are now grandparents, watching their grandchildren laugh at the exact same frames. Tom and Jerry didn't just entertain us, they taught us how to feel. They proved that conflict can create harmony, that silence can be loud, and that some rivalries are just love in disguise. The chase continues forever.